Streaming live across the country, tackling the topics everyone is talking about online. Share, engage, and interact. This is Newsfeed Now.
Good morning to you. Let's get started with some good news. Guess what? I don't know if anyone told you, but you're halfway through the work week, so go you. And in today's show, we are talking about the latest with the coronavirus pandemic, how one woman is giving back after losing her mom to the virus, and a Santa suit being stolen, and one man giving a standout performance after an equipment malfunction. We're going to talk all about those stories in just a little, but of course we need to start with the pressing matter, the ongoing pandemic and the latest. The U.S. is expected to begin its COVID-19 mass vaccination program within just a number of days. By the numbers, it can't come soon enough. Experts say we're in the midst of an anticipated post-Thanksgiving rise in cases, and there could be a huge blowback. Tom Nagovin has more.
We can expect in a matter of days new restrictions.
That warning from the mayor of America's largest city already becoming a reality across the country. North Carolina imposing an overnight curfew for restaurants, bars, and retailers starting Friday as COVID numbers hit new highs.
I think it's pretty clear that the later in the evening you go, the larger some of these gatherings can be.
15-minute rapid tests being offered to small business workers in Texas.
Keep the ideas coming.
California about to roll out CA Notify, an app that will let users know if they may have been exposed to the virus.
It's 100% private, 100% secure, 100% voluntary.
As a stay-at-home order remains in effect in San Diego County.
We're in the fight one more time to try and get this thing under control.
I'm tired of it. It's been nothing but harassment.
Still, businesses and their patrons are rebelling nationwide. This bar in southwestern Illinois among the latest, stripped of its food and liquor licenses for continuing to serve people indoors.
Hands off small business on Staten Island.
Reminiscent of the standoff that brought a massive protest to this tavern on Staten Island, in a neighborhood where COVID infections are spiking.
We want people to have their livelihoods. We want people to have their jobs, obviously, but we've got to stop this new surge that we're facing.
Through it all come the reminders to hang in there with highly effective vaccines on the way.
The ultimate goal, which we've done with other infections, like smallpox, like polio, like measles, is to get such a large proportion of the population vaccinated that you essentially eliminate the particular pathogen from society.
And at our nation's capital, President Donald Trump signed an executive order to guarantee Americans get priority for COVID-19 vaccines. The order was signed at a vaccination summit at the White House. Trump congratulated his administration for making sure the vaccine was made so quickly. He stressed every American who wants a vaccine will be able to get it and called the vaccine the greatest miracle in medical history. And while the president praises the development of the vaccine, Pfizer is criticizing Americans for allegedly doubting how effective the vaccine is. Pfizer CEO says discussions around the COVID-19 vaccine have just become all too political. And speaking of politics, as Congress works to compromise around a new COVID-19 relief bill, direct stimulus payments aren't included, something a lot of Americans were wishing was. Washington correspondent Basil John reports whether lawmakers see this as a possible last-minute addition.
Congress appears to be closer to bringing a COVID relief bill to a vote in the House and Senate, but direct stimulus checks are so far absent from the compromise plan.
There's continued conversation around direct stimulus checks, which I think is important.
Virginia Democratic Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger fears including direct payments in the bill could prevent the plan from crossing the finish line.
I'm focused on getting relief over the finish line, and finish line means a bill passed through the House and the Senate and signed on the president's desk so that we can ensure that extended unemployment, rent support, and food assistance, among other things, are delivered to the American people.
Pennsylvania Republican Congressman Fred Keller says another round of $1,200 checks is not the answer.
The stimulus payment is going to run out. Once that's gone, what are they going to do next?
Keller says instead, Congress needs to focus on jobs.
The best stimulus is a job, and what we need to do going forward is support our small businesses and our working families.
Many Republican lawmakers say the U.S. can't afford another round of direct payments.
Remember, every penny that we spend is borrowed.
Kentucky Republican Congressman Brett Guthrie.
That's, hundreds of billions of dollars that's borrowed from our children and grandchildren.
If stimulus checks are not included in the compromise, some lawmakers say they will work on a standalone bill, although that would be unlikely to pass until after the first of the year. Reporting in Washington, I'm Basil John.
Thank you, Basil. This may not come as a surprise to just about anyone. A survey reveals a lot of homes in America are still dealing with income issues because of this pandemic. Bankrate's coronavirus income reduction survey shows 42% of people say their income is still far below what it was before the pandemic. 1 in 6 homes have seen their income get back to normal or how it was before the pandemic. Another issue here, according to Feeding America, millions of Americans went to food banks this year. The organization says it gave out 4.2 billion, with the B, billion meals in the last 8 months. That's nearly a 57% increase in distribution compared to this time last year. Experts say minorities and homes with children, as well as women, are the ones at the greatest risk for hunger. One Pennsylvania woman is on a mission to help others avoid the pain her family felt, not able to communicate with their dying mother in the ICU. Daniel Hamburg has more in this story for us.
It's a pain too many are feeling these days, losing a loved one to COVID-19.
My mom was really tough. She was not one that we ever expected this to happen to.
Julie Books was a healthy 68-year-old with a loving family before testing positive for COVID-19 at the end of October.
We lost our mom, which is horrible, but we wish we were there with her, and we know that she was alone and she was scared, and there's nothing we can do.
Michael Books, his dad and mom live in Michigan, while sister Karen Pearson is in Elizabethtown.
Whether you're in Pennsylvania or you're in Michigan, at that point everybody feels a million miles away because nobody's allowed in.
Within days, Julie was on a ventilator in the ICU. The hospital had a limited amount of iPads.
The nurse one time held the phone when my mom was there, and I was able to talk to her for a little bit. They were able to get an iPad into the room, but it was very similar to the phone. It was just a nurse holding it. It was very short.
That's why they started an iPads for Patients GoFundMe. Almost $17,000 raised in just a few days.
If I can get a device into your hands, so at least you're not alone when you're there, maybe a little bit less scared, I think that improves your chances of healing.
Books is working with hospitals in Michigan and Pearson here in the Mid-State, including Penn State Health in Hershey, Holy Spirit, and Lancaster General Hospital to start with.
The goal is to have every single patient, when they check in, have an iPad at their disposal that they can have from the moment that they check in until they no longer need it anymore.
Pearson says it's not just a comfort, but a way to advocate for your loved ones.
You're going to have more communication between the doctors, nurses, and the patients' families. You're going to be able to advocate better for your family member that is in there. You'll be able to understand better what's going on while they're there because you can see them.
With enough to buy 50 iPads so far, their goal is to have no family go through what they did. The first batch of iPads will be delivered next week.
We're going to bring in Daniel Hamburg joining us now from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And Daniel, this is an issue so many people are dealing with right now. Must have regulations being put in place at these hospitals, but now this family, found a loophole so people can feel some sort of comfort and feel involved in the process.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. A lot of these families, obviously, with COVID cases just continuing to surge all across the country, people aren't allowed in these hospitals. And so this particular family, eventually they were allowed in the hospital, but only about 2 days before their mother died. And so, the communication is a big issue. And so that's why they started this project to really have allow every patient to be able to talk to their family and give their family members some comfort in the hospital while they're there, especially with COVID-19 and, any other illnesses they're battling.
Yeah, a safe way to actually get the family involved and to be there to comfort their family member. But Daniel, you also, when you did the story, you said they had raised about $17,000. Has there been a change in that monetary donation? I know people are donating more.
Yeah, so I actually just looked. We're at about $19,350 right now. So obviously it's gone up since my story. People continue to donate. And reading through some of these comments, people are, have gone through similar experiences. And so they really want to help out this cause.
Great story there, Daniel. Something a lot of people will probably want to donate to. So if you do, just make sure you click on the link to Daniel's story on this website you're watching this on right now. Thanks so much, Daniel. And moving on to the U.S. Supreme Court, they denied a lawsuit to overturn the results of the presidential election in Pennsylvania. The justices denied the appeal. One sentence order with no opposition. Representative Mike Kelly argued a 2019 state law authorizing universal mail-in voting is unconstitutional. He says all ballots sent in by the mail in the general election in Pennsylvania should be thrown out. Kelly and others filed the lawsuit on November 21st and requested that Pennsylvania either reject more than 2.5 million ballots that came in by mail or allow majority Republican state lawmakers to select presidential electors. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court dismissed the lawsuit, saying that the lawsuit came too little too late. This legislator changed that law in 2019. The plaintiffs waited until after the Pennsylvania primary and 28 days after the general election to actually file that lawsuit. Pennsylvania certified the election results on November 24th, with Joe Biden winning more than by 80,000 votes. Pennsylvania has 20 electoral votes. That's why this is such a big deal. But listen to this. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton pushing to have the U.S. Supreme Court invalidate election results in 4 key battleground states that President-elect Joe Biden also won. Paxton wants the courts to allow him to file a motion challenging results in Michigan, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. He also wants the state legislature to decide electors instead of the voters. Well, let's talk about holidays. 'Tis the season for holiday shopping, and this year a lot of it's being done online, as you can imagine. Rich DeMuro explains how top tech companies are making sure porch pirates, who no one likes, don't get a chance to scoop your packages.
'Tis the season for online shopping, and that means many opportunities for porch pirates ready to swipe your packages. Here are some of the ways you can use technology to fight back. With online orders galore, package deliveries provide an easy target for porch pirates.
There are almost 2 million packages a day being swiped from porches across America.
Rebecca Edwards is an editor at home security site Safewise.com. She says wireless accessories like video doorbells have made a big difference.
They make your life more convenient and they make it safer.
The easier, the better. Kangaroo makes a $20 peel and stick doorbell that installs in seconds and runs a year on AA batteries.
I like video doorbells that have two-way talk, because if you can go, hey, get off my porch.
Soon they may do it for you. Vivint working on a feature that automatically makes a sound when a lurker is detected.
People are like looking around and it goes woohoo, and they take off.
Take advantage of notifications to remove packages from your doorstep as soon as they're delivered. Ring's new $30 mailbox sensor sits in your mailbox and tells you when mail is delivered or disturbed.
You've got mail.
Plus, it can trigger a video recording or turn on lights.
It makes any mailbox smart. It gives you information that you didn't have before that allows you to get your mail sooner, save trips, and have security that your mail is not being accessed by someone who should not access it.
Tracking your packages is a smart way to keep tabs on them. An app called Route scans your email or links to your Amazon account so you can see the status of all of your deliveries on one page. Of course, you can always get a bigger mailbox. Once the delivery is inside, it's out of sight and harder to swipe. One more option, have packages delivered to a secure location. Major retailers have in-store lockers or offer free pickup, but that somewhat defeats the convenience of home delivery. I've got links to everything I mentioned on my website. Just go to richontech.tv. I'm Rich DeMuro, and you are Tech Smart.
Thanks so much, Rich. Steve and I were just talking about, Steve's behind the camera right now, how much fun it would be to bark at a porch pirate like, get away! But you know who? Woof, woof. That's what we're going to do with porch pirates. We're so weird. Well, Santa needs your help finding his suit. What? After someone broke into his garage and stole it. The red attire straight from his car. Swiper, no swiping. Come on. Ty Hawkins has more.
I'm sure they didn't turn the light on. My car was unlocked because you don't think about locking your car inside your garage.
That's when Mike Osborne realized his Santa suit had been stolen from his car.
I carry all of my equipment in a black bag, and they just swiped it and took off.
For the last 8 years, the school bus driver has been Santa for more than 15 places needing him for the holiday season. Inside the black bag, in his back seat, was full Santa gear.
Over the years, you accumulate the bells. I had special boots. I had prescription Santa glasses.
Now, it's all gone, forcing him to order new gear so he can be ready, and it wasn't cheap.
$750 later, I had new boots, new suit, new bells, new everything, and I had to pay extra to get everything overnighted here so that I could be ready to go again.
His wife, Sue, says,
and I'm sure that they were not aware of what was in the bag. They just grabbed the black bag, but once they found out what was in it, why did they not return it?
Right now, Mike's upset and not sure why his Santa gear was stolen, but it won't stop him from spreading holiday cheer.
My wife and I we love Christmas, and if we knew that somebody needed money for food or something, if they just asked, we'd have helped them.
Listen to this statistic. Mike is booked 2 years out already, but he tells me his favorite place to be Santa is Union Station.
Okay, we have to bring in Ty Hawkins joining us now from St. Louis. But Ty, before we get to Santa, on my wish list is that dog behind you. I need you to introduce your dog to us first.
All right, this is Ruby. Come here, Ru. Come here, sweetheart. Oh, she doesn't want to get up right now. We'll get her real quick, then we got to talk about this Santa. All right, this is Ruby. This is my
so
French
worth
bulldog.
It.
She's the best thing that's happened to me in 2020. She was sleeping, but she wasn't very happy to hear about Santa's suit missing. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I'm not happy to hear about it either, because who wants to steal holiday cheer like that? How does that happen? You know, out of all the things to swipe from a car, I mean, come on, who needs a Santa suit?
Well, get this. Yeah, Ruby's had enough of us. Sorry, guys. Santa's suit, listen to this. It's about 78 miles outside of St. Louis. And both Sue and Mike, who we introduced you in the story, they are bus drivers, school bus drivers, getting ready to retire. And about 8 years ago, Sue convinced Mike to be Santa Claus because he had the natural beard. And then some guy came up to him in Sam's Club and said, hey, do you want to be a Santa Claus over at Union Station, one of the busiest places in St. Louis during the holiday season? Mike said, yeah. He's been doing it about 8 years now. And someone came into his garage. Get this, there's power tools, a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. The only thing they stole was that black bag. Now, our station has got some great response from viewers offering to give him money, donate new suits, things of that nature. But he's booked 2 years out already. So he had to get going. And overall, he spent $750 of his own money. But the thing that bothered him the most is the memories he had acquired through the suit, the bells, the special boots, and the prescription glasses. But he has a suit. He's back to being Santa, and hopefully we can find out who these knuckleheads are, or alleged knucklehead is, that took the suit.
Yeah, we got to find the Grinch. But I also thought what was really powerful in the story was he said he would give anything to whoever needed it. You know, he's like, if you need food, we'll give you food. If you need money, we'll give you money, which I thought was really powerful.
Yeah, definitely. He's a really nice guy, easy to talk to. Obviously, you don't lock your garage or lock your car when it's in your garage. You made a mistake. But he seems very willing to help anyone in need. And we didn't put the sound in this, but given everything everyone's going through right now during these uncertain times, people are out of work, people are losing money. He said because of COVID, if they just would have knocked on the door, they would have let him in.
Yeah, what a good guy there. We hope that suit is found, and we hope to book you again so we can see your dog again. Thanks so much for joining us, Ty, and give that dog lots of pets today for us. But before we go, you have to hear this story. When the national anthem wouldn't play during a high school basketball game, one dad with some mad pipes stood up, sang a rendition of the beloved song, and had so many people in the gym in tears. Take a listen. Someone's got to let him sing in an NFL game or an NBA game, because basketball dad Trenton Brown is actually from a military family and he loves to sing. So when the audio broke as his kids stood saluting the flag at the game between Waverly and Portsmouth West, Trenton's wife actually nudged him and said, hey, fill this awkward pause.
There was some technical difficulties and they couldn't get the music to play, and it seemed like forever. And so finally my wife kind of nudged me and she said, just sing it. And so I started singing it, and that was it.
What a moment that a lot of people are holding on to. Get this, Brown's friend actually posted this video you're watching right now on Facebook. It had 11 million views a day later. You're not surprised by that. You know, so you never know when you're going to feel the moment to sing, but especially when we're honoring our military and our country. Applause to him. That was great. We hope you guys enjoyed this show. Thanks so much for joining us for Newsfeed Now. Don't forget, we're going to be back here on Thursday, same place, same time. And if you don't join me, I'm going to be sad. So join us for Newsfeed Now. Bye.